from the original,
Yeah,
original one.
correct. If you have the question, yeah, we can clarify those first. Right.
Okay, it's just let me switch the camera so I can
Yeah.
show you what I mean on my phone. It like sometimes it has this, right? It's like a very even wash of gray.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering how, I mean, does it actually paint the whole stone with very light ink, or does it come back later and paint over the color, you know?
Oh, you mean all is it on the middle part, right? This one.
This part, the gray part.
Oh, those actually is part of, when they do more like layering, right? So certain you are, because if you look at below this one, the horizontal, he also have some lighter ink, right? The
Here.
horizontal one. Yeah. Then this one
Oh,
also,
there's
and the
these.
top in the middle also. Yeah, so he actually, that's actually a very good question, because that part of the shadings, right, he did in his painting is right what we say that transition from traditional painting to modern, even actually after Shitara, because Zhang Daqian copied a lot of his painting.
Mm,
So he inherited all these type of things,
mm-hmm.
like doing the layering. So in terms of technique wise, right, this one you can actually lay down before you do the color, or you actually do after the color, both fine. Yeah, most of the time, as long as the color, the ink, let's say the color you applied is not those so-called the powder like the number 55, 56, all those color.
Mm,
You can actually apply the ink uh, before your color, or do it after your color. It's both fine. But if you are
mm.
applying color like number 55 or 56, all those color, right, so-called the powder light, right? So you need to actually apply the ink actually after the color, right? Because
Yeah.
the
It's opaque.
thing, yeah, it become like all those paints will actually cover your ink layer.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those actually you can also try, because
Mm,
one thing very different is um, among all the Chinese painter when they do especially landscape, the amount of water, right? So in
mm,
each, let's say we talk about the layer concept, right? So
mm,
we're gonna lay down the ink layer, and on top we have the color layer, right?
mm,
Each Chinese painter, when they lay down different layers, right? They are very this when they put down the thing, it's very individual. That means some of the painters, right, they would rather go a very heavy ink layer first, right? So
mm,
then later when they apply the colors, right, they will adjust the contrast.
mm,
Now another type of painting, like painters, what they do is actually when you lay down the ink layer, you
mm,
actually not only, let's say, just one or two layers of ink layer. They actually start with light, right? Then you're gonna lay down more layers on top. So run and run, right? And then you will get more depth in the painting. So that's the two things is both correct. There's no right or wrong, but uh, the second way, which means you have more lighter layer
mm,
below and more layers. This one the painting will look more, what we say, in the way that when you look at Chinese painting, some you can have a depth, right? When you
mm,
look
mm.
at the painting depth. So the second way will achieve a depth look and feel. So that means, when you look at the painting, you can actually go quite behind the painting.
So you have to let each ink layer dry.
Correct. Yeah. Between the layer, you must let them dry first.
Okay.
Because if, for example, if you're doing on this very raw one, cooked
Mm,
one paper,
yeah.
you definitely have to wait until it's dry. But some of the painters, right, they actually have this more, we so-called, last time we talked about the concept of the dark brick the light. Remember,
Yeah.
the dark brick the light. The dark brick the light requires you to not wait until your lower layer is fully dry, it's maybe just half dry, then you can start to break. But that actually requires you to have more advanced level of managing your brush and ink, because it's very easy that it will become like a mess, because the thing if
Right.
you're not able to control your pressure speed and also the amount of ink inside your brush, when you do this we call 浓破淡, right? Which means the dark ink break the light ink, right? What happens is gonna be, the pressure, the speed, also the proportions, the amount of water, and also the timing. This all depends, right? So a lot of if you go for some simple, what we so-called, it's actually derived from the traditional painting. Right? Last time, I think in the class I mentioned also to the classmates here is that I think there was a Hong Kong artist came to Singapore to do an exhibition. He only paint cloud, right? So it's actually come from the traditional. So the whole painting is all cloud. And he needs to multiple rounds of blending, then this breaking on top to build the effects of the cloud, because it's rounded, right? So it's come from the back, the light to the strong, to the shadow inside. Yeah. So all these are actually very will come down to each personal. So, but I think once you understand how you do it, you can try a few more times, right? Even for the big paintings, right? Offline, you can also do some other painting. And also today,
Yes.
the painting show, I'm going to show you one painting that we also in the classroom last time. The classmates tried. It's a very
Okay.
big painting. I think it will help
Okay.
you better understanding, because that painting is not a lot of stones, but it's actually a lot of just in the so-called we call it very deep type of landscape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
for this one, you were saying that when he painted, he the the
Ah,
on the 3-layer raw paper, do you
yeah.
do you split the hair and then slowly add layers, or the gray part?
Oh, for Shitao, right? He actually don't do a lot of split brush. Splitting the brush is more for a beginner or
To
maybe
get the effect.
intermediate. Yeah, intermediate. But when you get to the last level of painting, right? Actually, the whole splitting process happens during your brush on the paper. So you do not pre-break your brush. It's actually on the paper when you turn, right? You're gonna, let's say your brush, this is my hands is the brush, right?
Yeah.
So when you paint and suddenly you turn direction, then your brush is open, right? Then you go again from there. And then it will later also closing of the brush is also on the paper.
I
And
see.
actually a lot of, if you are using the layer concept, and especially when you do large painting, this splitting of the shadow in the traditional painting, in the modern painting, there are a lot of people using that. It's actually in modern painting, they actually split the brush. That means even before the painting, the brush is already like this way.
Oh, they cut it?
So correct, yeah, they will cut it, but then it's more like when they adjusting the color in the plate,
I see.
they press down more, so the brush is slowly become more flat, like that. That
Oh.
happens in a lot modern painting, but in traditional painting, right, they actually don't do a lot of splitting. And also, you see, when you do big paintings, right, your brush is already big enough to create all those uh, textures. So no need to break again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Shitao, right, actually his painting, it doesn't do splitting. It's more like he's using the different you see the dots there, in the shadow parts, and also all those lighter one, right? He actually doing the tap, all those type. He more
Oh, I
prefer to
see.
using the, in the whole process we have the outline, then the blending, then the dot,
Oh, I
right? The
see. I see
dotting,
it.
right? He's more using like that. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Using. yeah, using the split brush is more, you know, for us is to get quickly into creating some texture. But
Yeah.
along the way, I think you should try to avoid to using a lot of that method. Because the more you paint, the more you will feel is actually, you know, when you paint bigger paintings, right, your brush increase the size. And also, if you're not splitting brush, it's actually more easier, you know. Splitting brush is actually not easy to control. Because in the
Oh
way
no,
that,
not easy.
yeah, it's not easy when you split the brush, but it's very easy to get certain like fly white, fade by, and all those inside the painting and create a texture.
Right.
But yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
it's not easy. We can make a lot of mistakes too. Yeah.
correct, correct. And
Yeah.
and you know, people when they're handling the brush, the pressure, I think for landscape is all about pressure. Pressure among all the components is the most important part. That means your hands, how heavy you're gonna push down, and which
Yeah.
part of the brush gonna touch the paper. All those are with you. When you paint more, you should gradually feel the brush like part of your body touching. That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I when I get used to the 3-ply raw, I
Yeah.
don't want to use anything else because it lets you add and control and add and
yeah, correct. It's that one is very good for landscape, right? But you know, if you do big 写意, right, 大写意, we so called the 大写意 is also is very also very good because traditional all those the very good painters when they do they all do on the 3-ply. When they you know the 3-ply rice paper you can actually separate. This
still
3-ply,
separate lah.
yeah, they can separate. You use certain chemical. This one can
Oh
actually
my
separate.
goodness.
So one painting can separate into 3 paintings. If the original painter, right, is very we should call the when he painting the in Chinese we call
Pressure.
力透纸币, right, which
Yeah.
means your pressure and also the ink you go very heavy. This is also the thing for calligraphy, like last time I mentioned, right?
Yes.
So as a judge, when you look at all those calligraphy, in the front, you see very good. In the back, you turn back, right? There's nothing go through the paper, which means the person is drawing the character on the paper and very lightly just to outline, you know, make sure it's correct. That's not writing. So if you turn around the paper and to see the back end, right, the color actually penetrates the paper. That's the good thing. So like my daughter, my 8 years old daughter, she joining this Singapore the national calligraphy contest for 8 years.
Oh really?
9 years. She got an award. She actually
Oh my
not
goodness.
writing. She actually write not very good, but her pressure to the paper. I asked her just try your best to. She's writing in Thai style, right? So go through the paper. Yeah. So although she's not writing very, like all stylish like other, but all those judges, I know some of them, but I didn't tell them my daughter was there.
Yeah.
But this definitely, as I think for you, you can also know behind. Let's say you go for some of the calligraphy contests in the US, they also have, right? So try to go a little heavy because when you go heavy pressure, right, which means the things you are writing, it will be we so called the fix into a style that when you write other things, it will be also the same. But if you just like drawing the character like very lightly, paint in the front, yeah, that one would be no good. But it's actually gradually, when you write, when you feel the pressure of the brush, and you have more fun. The calligraphy is actually besides Kai style, the other ones actually more fun things. Even we do 行草, right? All the pressure in certain stroke very heavy. Press a little heavy, then you go lighter. Right? The changing of the rhythm, right? Actually will give you a lot of happiness. I think during the writing. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can try this trend style. right? And then I will show you
Yeah, I won't follow, but I will review the video after that because there's more efficient time.
yeah, sure. Look, let me switch my get my by the way, yeah, the portraits you have painted. This one is this one who is this one?
You take a guess.
This one is it your father?
No,
Husband?
it's
Husband?
no, it's my cousins like this actor so much that I paint her this one.
Oh, is it called what's
It's
is he in the US or
no, I just Google him and took a picture of the Google and just practice.
is it Zhou Renfa?
No, it's Korean.
Oh, Korean.
Yeah.
Korean, I don't know a lot. I
Yeah,
see.
my cousins love him so much. All of them. It's like
Oh,
so
I see.
crazy.
Yeah, for portraits, right? And you see this one, the second one you paint. This one, like
Mm,
when you're doing, is more, like you start with lighter ink. This one
correct.
is better. This one is better. Your great grandpa father,
Mm,
right? Yeah.
mm,
So this one a little bit heavy. I mean
correct.
the little more. But if you start a bit lighter,
Mm,
then there will be even better. And also, certain parts, right, of the texture, let's say on the on the on the on the on the face,
mm,
this part is, I think the structure wise is correct, but then is more on the the nose actually need to be very very heavy in the color. If you go lighter, right, uh, because this is very common when you painting according to a photo, especially
mm,
for portraits. It's actually you took the lights in that photo in consideration of your um, when you do the painting. And
mm.
the thing is like this. So I think one way to resolve this type of issue, right? You see, when we do the stone lines painting,
Mm-hmm.
we are starting inside some of the, it's not the lines, but more directly go to the shadow, right? So
Mm,
when you
mm,
start
mm,
with portraits, right? If you are not starting, if you do not focusing on the outline, and you're
mm,
focusing more on the shape and the surface, right?
mm-hmm.
And then you will get actually more the smooth painting and also balancing of
I
all the
see, I
features.
see.
Yeah. So because a lot of times when we look at things, we all focusing on the outline,
Correct.
the face, the mouth, all
Right.
here. If you focus too much on that, right, what happens is actually these outlines will become too strong in the
That's
painting.
right. Yeah.
In the actual, our face, right, our like portraits,
We
right,
don't have lines.
normally,
Yeah.
we don't have lines there. So lines is as a for reference, that,
Mm, mm,
where they, but when you do more paintings, I think you can try start directly with the surface, shadings,
mm,
all
mm,
those,
mm.
right? Then slowly build the face out from there. Yeah.
So what's when you draw a man's face and a
Mm,
woman's face,
yeah.
how do you make sure it's a man's face?
Oh, there is more like the features, of the man
Smaller
compared to
eyes
the,
or
yeah, man's face is more, I think is more squarish for man's
mm,
face, and also the nose is actually more wider
bigger?
than
Uh-huh.
ladies, right? And also this part of the eyebrow here, the bones
Hmm.
are actually more, what we so-called more higher
Oh,
here.
so
But for
oh,
ladies, right,
mm,
is actually here is more soft, more soft.
mm,
And also the shape part, right, you see here, actually man's here, right, is more
mm,
squarish. For
I see.
ladies, right, it's more smooth. So a lot of times, right, it's actually also that, when we do paintings, right, you take one person, especially for portraits, you take his most most featured parts, right? Let's say some people's eyes are very um, very special, special shapes or special colors, right? Then you do the eyes more strong, and then you weakening the rest of the things.
Oh,
That means the same like the line stones we do, right? You can actually do more details in the face, then the body kind of blurred out a little bit.
yeah,
It will give you a better balancing of
I
the feature.
see.
And
Okay.
also, when we look at a person, recognize a person, we normally recognize from the the very special feature
The
on this
outstanding
person.
features, right?
Yes. Somebody they have very high nose, and somebody they have like the eyes, the mouth, all those balancing parts. Yeah, but it's actually very good thing is actually if you understand, right, the ink painting is actually a much faster way compared uh, to the pencil line. But
Yeah.
it's actually what we say, understanding sketching also will help you understanding, what we so called the ink painting or portraits.
Mm-hmm.
When we do sketching, right, we use pencil to de separate all the face into different areas. The
Mm-mm-mm.
shading, the
Mm.
transition. But once you know the structure, it applies same when you do the ink painting.
Yeah, I
Mm.
didn't use pencil. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
went straight
correct. You should.
because
I think
yeah.
the more you paint with the ink brush,
Mm,
then the easier it will go. I mean
yeah.
the way to get the features correctly. Yeah,
I, I
and
I
so,
think it's very easy for your female students to draw faces, because it's almost like makeup.
I see.
The
Correct.
shading, the cheekbones, the
Yeah,
eyeshadow,
yeah,
and all that.
yeah. Last time we had the portraits, I think I told you that was quite some time ago. Um, because um, we go through a few of that class, then I think it's stone lines could be easier than the actual face. But we do have classmates perform very good.
Mm,
That one classmate, she's still in the current Saturday class, and she
mm,
paint also her father is her
mm,
father, and use a use a photo.
mm, mm,
So it's more, the whole. I think when we use ink, is to managing the highlights and shadow parts in the correct,
mm,
uh, correct level, and that's not the correct
mm.
place, but it's correct place we all understand, but it's actually
Yeah.
on the correct level. That means, for example, if you see, the nose, in this
Mm,
painting, from what I saw here, is too bright.
mm, mm, mm,
But if you cover, see, I use a paper, right? If you cover the nose, you see this part of the face is actually very good, you know. But
mm.
then this nose part is become too
Oh,
too strong. Maybe it's actually from the original photo,
so it
that
splits the face into half.
yeah. So if you look at this part, this side, or this side, both
Mm,
very good. Yeah.
mm,
You see the shadings and the highlights all here captured
mm,
very correctly, but only is actually the nose here. I think it's too
mm.
bright. Uh, it's
So
actually
just
some.
tone it down, or
Yeah, I think tone down a little bit.
the center
More
there, right?
in the center, yes, correct. Because
And sink it down between the eyes.
correct. So
Ah,
this part is more important, and also in the painting, most of the time, for this part of the face,
mm,
the shading here, you don't have to go very dark,
I
uh,
see.
because when you go very dark, it looks like the face is actually go back a lot. That means
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
very strong transition from here to
right,
here.
right.
That could be because of the original, what is so-called
Yeah, the original one side all dark.
yeah, correct. I showed you
Mm,
this one yesterday on the evening class.
mm,
The one classmate, she painted the samurai from Japan on a big paper. Show you the
mm,
photo.
mm.
Uh, she liked to. She's doing very well, for the other painting classes. Uh, yeah. See this one is what we
Ah,
did.
Oh, very
This one
nice.
she also like try to go for right.
This is
But
her work.
yes, correct.
Wow, so nice.
Yeah. So, but you see, this portrait, so also called a figure painting, is more to you see to use a very strong. There's
Yes.
no lighter
No
ink
gray. Yeah.
inside, no gray color. It's just the black ink with all the details. And if you look at the face parts, right, here actually I
Mm.
watch her, on the things on the face. It's more like without the intermediate tones. I mean the gray color.
Mm.
What we want to feature is all those dark ones. Yeah,
Mm.
but I say for the one the portrait just now, this one.
It looks like a wood block print.
Right. So then this part is actually more for this part on the two sides. I think
Mm.
the position of all the highlights and shadows, right? But it's all on this side if you can lighten up a little
Mm,
more.
mm, mm.
Because the thing is actually when we look at person, yes, this side got shadow, but also they got reflection. So
Yeah.
that's for sketching, right? On this side, you
Right.
can go a bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Then it will be more better. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
And
portraits are
uh-huh.
yeah,
Go
portrait
ahead.
has this type of when you're painting also the one in class last time also have the same thing is actually you can keep on adding, right? Then you
Yes.
don't know when to stop, then it suddenly become very very dark.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah, there will be too much. The control of the ink, right? Sometimes like in the Chinese painting, those the doctor Chinese painting I sent to
Mm,
you,
mm, yes.
some actually go very light. Some actually
Yes.
go, don't have to go,
Almost all
um,
quite. Mm-hmm.
yes. I think in the master class, we will have one class that it will actually introduce one Chinese painting master. Is
Mm-hmm.
one still alive. His name is Fan Zheng.
Mm.
He's very good in traditional. He paint only portraits, face,
Ah.
but in a very two-dimensional.
Mm,
So
mm,
it's not doing three-dimensional. But
mm-hmm.
comparing the different styles, I think that you can actually try out different styles. Then you can also have a better understanding, what
Mm-hmm.
Chinese painting can do, in a portrait.
So how do you make lips more masculine?
You mean the
Thinner,
lips?
flatter
Uh, you mean this muscular?
lips?
You mean
Yeah,
yeah.
more masculine, more
Oh,
manly.
manly. I think it's more like certain parts of men is actually the uh, thickness of the lips, right? And also this part, the transition. See here. You see this line here is
Mm.
too strong,
Ah.
because it looks like it's gonna like glue on top of the face.
Oh.
So
Oh.
the transition for man is actually this part is more strong. This part between the nose and the mouth.
Oh.
This
Mm.
part is more strong, and then this part is actually not so dark. It's okay, but the lines is more
Mm.
like man's usually most of the time, right? Is actually the lips are more thicker for the top. The top
Okay.
lips are more thicker, and then the bottom one, right? I think also this outline here, right? If
Mm.
you kind of get a bit lighter surrounding this side, get a
Mm.
bit lighter
Mm-hmm.
transition to, because here the tone and the skin has a too big,
Ah,
too big,
that's right. That's
and
right.
also the corner of the mouth for men
Mm.
and the ladies are different. This one for men most of the time because we got some mustache on top,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Usually when you go, so this part is actually more deeper for men. For this
Mm.
one, the two corner, yeah. So yeah, so
Deeper
uh,
meaning what?
deeper
Oh,
meaning like
darker.
here you got a little shadow.
I
That
see.
means unless it's
Oh,
makeup,
oh.
then it's more like you know um here the two corner you can go
Yes,
darker, yeah.
I
And
see.
also when you want to make the lips more Also the top more thicker, right? Then
Mm.
middle part darker, but in between here don't have
Mhm.
to go very dark. You know, the
Okay.
same like the opera lady, the
Mm.
mouse we paint, but this the when we're using the ink, the more
Mm.
important thing is this part. It cannot be so strong.
Okay.
Bit lighter, you can try again, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
And also for men, also here actually, I'm not sure if it's original. Here,
Yeah.
men usually have two very clear lines here,
Mm, mm, mm.
and
Right.
um, maybe I think nowadays all these superstars they make up.
Yeah, it's so hard to find a picture that has lines on the face. That's where I chose my great grandfather because he's old,
Ah,
you know.
correct, right. Because the photo, right, will definitely impact your painting, the lighting
Right.
inside that photo. Yeah,
Yeah.
but more is more like when you're choosing, like just now the classmate I want to show you, right? She's
Mm,
choosing a very uh, uh, good lighting portrait.
mm-hmm,
She actually
mm-hmm.
has this original reference was actually a 3D model in a game. I think something like we play
Oh.
some game, and then this 3D model in that lighting setup is
Mm.
from one side to another side. So that's why she's getting all those very accurate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mm.
show me again. Show me again.
Ah, yeah.
And she did the calligraphy too.
Oh no, I help her to do that.
Mm.
I help to do
Oh, so nice. The calligraphy is so nice.
it.
Like it's
You
ready to go fight like that.
correct. She like she paint a lot of small cuts. This is not her first time. Yeah, she liked to do this because this style right is actually what we so called sumi or so Japanese, right? When
Right.
the sumi was actually passed from Tang Dynasty to Japan,
Mm,
so they are doing some optimization or simplification to the painting style. I
mm,
have one Japan student last time I showed you her calligraphy, right?
right,
Yeah, they shows very they when they do painting they want very clean style.
right,
I think that come down to their nation, you know, the
right.
characters. They don't want
Hmm.
some additional. Also, kind of for the painting, they are doing the same thing.
So this the big strokes are very big brush.
uh, Here, yes, using this side, yeah. So it's getting like big size like
Uh,
that
and
directly.
it's one stroke, right? I mean, and then
Yeah,
fade by.
some actually she's a very into detail person. You know, she's
Mm-hmm,
actually for painting like this one, it requires you to have uh, both detail but very bold stroke also.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But yeah, so let's say here, right, you need to actually go very bold, and
mm,
then on the face, right, then again you need to go very um, detail. You see here,
mm,
got the line. So initially, she's asking also whether she should have this line here. I think
mm.
better, you know, for man, you should have something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
just more
also,
muscular kind of
yeah,
look.
correct. And also for the side of the face, you see, although this inside, if you color the whole thing black here,
You can't
then you
see.
won't
Yeah,
see the face. So you need to do some reflection from this side of
yeah.
the face, and that means light coming up,
Reverse positive.
right?
Yeah.
So then you can have. Also, when you do the shading here, right, you see actually needs to do certain changes of stroke to get
Mm,
the correct
mm.
shape. Yeah.
And
So
what kind of paper is this?
this is the roll, the silk roll.
Oh,
She paint
oh,
on the
oh.
roll directly. Yeah.
I ask you that the roll, is it very expensive in Singapore?
No, for classroom we are using like $20 here or for classroom.
Oh my God,
Singapore
that's so
dollar.
cheap.
Yeah. In the US you have this one online?
Yeah, but we don't to get something like that, it's like 60 US dollars.
Oh yeah. You need to actually more this one the roll is some of the uh, supplier merchants in China they do this one not very good. Last time I think this one we also had this from Sichuan, right? They are doing
Mm,
this silk road, but the paper right is still from Anhui. and also Hubei. Those
It's also half raw.
half raw, yes. All these
Okay.
almost like all is half raw, half cooked, half raw one.
The
Yeah.
scroll, you mean?
Yeah, the scroll, yes. So I think if I'm not sure if you can find if let's say, because this one I think the shipping wise, because it's quite a long one, but you know it can also shape if you need, right, we can shape a few rows back to
Yeah.
but the thing
Yeah.
is for this type of painting on the roll, a lot of times people think, right, I should paint on the rice paper, then do the mounting, then the framing, and they say this type of roll is not good for painting. In certain point, right, it's correct. This type of roll not good for painting is because when it's already framed, the back is like same like our card when we do the painting. The back side is already there. But to me, I think that depending on the roll, it's actually helping you to um, how to say, to use the technique more aggressively. So then you actually getting push yourself to need, you know, some of the parts, let's say the ink does not blending, then you might need to go use some additional water to blend them out. It's
I
actually
see.
a very good way to also to learn. I mean, if you treat this as a final work, right? Of course, you know, the whole process will help you to understand more. But this rule is also very good for calligraphy. I think you don't have to do the mounting, because in Singapore, mounting this one is, I think, with the Clementi, there's a supplier, they do mounting like this size, they're asking for $270. $270, then it's too expensive. I think, yeah, you do directly on the roll, I think it's better. It's also, you know, when you do writing or some actually on top of that.
So okay, so I will send a reminder about the roll and the brushes too. Yeah.
He's adding more details to using the roll.
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually giving quite a not bad as compared to the raw rice paper. Yeah.
How long has this person been painting?
You mean learn painting? He learned
Yes.
from here about a year.
That's very good.
A year, yes. He's very. He's also a teacher teaching physics. He's a scientist.
In where?
In the the France international school.
I see.
Yeah. We have the other classmates. He's still working on the Gongbi stuff. Very clear.
Oh my goodness, so much
work. Very detailed. Yeah, but he's working for this piece for, I think, 5 class already. Yeah, because there's also he's doing accounting. You know, this character decide also what you do. It's very need to be very accurate. Sometimes I say, actually, Marcus, no need to be so accurate, but he still want to go very accurate.
He used ruler or not?
Yeah, he used for this painting, right? Need to use ruler because you need to be very strict.
I see.
Yeah, all these lines. Otherwise,
amazing.
Not able to do so freehand. Yeah, correct. Yeah, the thing,
Wow.
you know.
So by the end of 10 lessons, he has to finish.
Yeah, I think his last painting, right? Show you his last painting. He finished about 4 class, but this painting gets a bit longer because I think also that his work has a lot pressure.
So he can bring home. Actually, Gongbi can bring home.
Yeah, but he said at home no
space,
no space and time to do. This one is his Gongbi for the. This one the Mandarin duck, very clean
so nice.
one.
Is this for the, you were saying the exhibition? Is this the one of those?
Yeah, he also joined the exhibition, but he's not using this piece.
I see.
This piece is from his last the course yes.
So he does Gongbi on the roll, the paper is different, right?
This one is the same half roll, so it's not considered like pure gongbi, but it's like a
嗯
先工代写, the half gongbi, half 写意, right?
嗯
Because
嗯
if
嗯
you see the color here, he actually didn't blend in like
，That's right,
so much detail like the gongbi stuff.
right.
So it's more like a
Oh, so cute.
drawing, very clean. Yeah, it still comes down to his own character, right? How he want everything to be very clean, organized.
Oh yeah,
So if you
yeah.
paint, yeah, I think painting on the roll is actually giving you a faster way to accomplish a
Mm,
painting. But some people they consider if you do self-mounting, it's also quite
mm.
fun. I mean, if you mounting
But you can
it's
ruin it
fun.
also, right?
Yeah. But if you do self-mounting, I always like our Saturday class, the classmates is 80 years old already. He do self-mounting at home,
Oh my
right? I
God.
say try using smaller painting first, and then
Mm,
gradually you go large paint. For
mm,
ultimate like through the behind you the landscape. When
mm.
you do those type of mounting, better is you get a, let's say you have space, right? You get this type of mounting machine. There is actually
Uh,
a type of mounting machine like hot press, on that
yes,
very big one.
heated, right?
Because if you go part by part, what happens is sometimes you press one way, then you move the painting, right? Then you press another thing. Sometimes in between, the overlapping parts, when you just mount that, you don't see it. Once it dry, some more because certain the overlapping parts was actually burned like twice, like this one,
Uh-huh.
this part
Yes,
twice.
yes.
So once it becomes certain times, it becomes start to get yellowish, right? This overlapping part will be yellowish first. So
Oh,
that's actually the that's actually why they have very big mounting machine also if you mount directly, or a
mm.
better way is actually use the manual mounting, right? Then it
The
wants
what?
to the manually mounting, the
Oh
wet
yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be better because you don't have to um,
Mm.
use the heat inside. Actually, the heat
Okay.
to the paper is actually, honestly speaking, is damaging the paper.
It
Yeah,
cannot
it's
be
not.
good, Yeah,
Yeah, correct.
yeah. So
Right.
so I wanted to order some brush from you. It's
Mm.
so you have more than one kind of hoopy brush?
Yeah, the currently for the in the studio for the classes, we have this the standard one that you used last time for the
The
calligraphy,
medium
the
size?
big
Yeah.
size, medium size, smaller size. If you want some a special long one, I think I need to check because those are actually more like in the other parts of the office have quite many brushes. I can go check for
Okay.
you, but you,
Okay.
you, you need, but you need, let's say you need some bigger brushes, like this type of big brush also can
Mm-hmm.
use. We have good
Yeah.
ones. This one is not the good one. This one is not good one. We have good ones.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So of different sizes, small ones also. I need
Yeah,
small ones too.
small
So
line
so
brush.
yeah. If you have a few different sizes, then two of each would be
Okay,
good.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just find, that the ones we have, then maybe
Yeah.
I can take a photo for you and see.
And then the scroll also, the
Mm,
green ones.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
The big one, 2x4 or
Yeah.
something. Okay.
Mm, yeah. So, okay, let's just go through this. I
Sure.
think it's more like these are actually not easy to find in my old computer. But is
It's very
is that
useful.
yeah? This one is actually if you see this is the painting, then this is the real photo of the environments. So
Mm,
that tells us, in the how you use different according to the real environments
mm,
you're painting.
mm-hmm,
And the first one is the 荷叶春, right? This lotus leaf. We
mm,
remember in
mm.
the beginner class when we
Right.
paint the long painting, right? We actually use this one. This one is just
Split
do
and
a quick,
split.
yeah,
Yeah.
quick demo, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you do more, what we so call in the advanced level, right?
Mm,
Is more like you need to combine multiple twin style in one inside one paint. It's not one style that very consistent all throughout. Okay.
Right.
So this one I get a brush on white the paper. So in the bucket. And then we can get the ink. For twin style, depending, because some of the twin style we are using the tape, some of the twin style we are using the side. Depending which part of the brush you are using, and the we also call the color or the thickness of the ink has to be different. You see this one, we can go outline on the top of the mountain, right? Then from there, right, from top of the mountain, you start to coming down, and then from here, right, you can start to split. And based on the whole mountain. So usually the splitting, what happens, right? Let's say you want to design a mountain like this way. You can do this line first, and then starting from here, right? You see on this side, I'm actually start to split to here. That means this is the main top of the mountain.
Yes.
And this is one side of the mountain. This is one side of the mountain. So if you paint like that, it's better. And also when you splitting thick notes is actually not necessary. I must have two, right? You can have three. You can also have one. So depending on the place, sorry, the shapes you want. Shapes you want.
Then how do you shade that?
Yeah. So the shading of this one, like I mentioned, we actually need to use multiple, what we should call the multiple twin style inside the painting. So this one you can combine with the X twin. The second one is not the second one is big. The third one is small X twin. Then the second one is big X twin.
Yes.
So small X twin, right, is normally when we use combined with the lotus. So that means, on this side, the inside of the brush, right, it can coming down this way, coming down like this way, right? Starting from here, this line, and then let's say on this side, say coming down this way. From here, I'm splitting a little more here. Now, there's a very important rules when you're using all these twin styles, right? Is that, just now I said there are twin, right? One is based on lines, say like this lotus twin, right? You are using lines. Later, you also have Pima twin, right? The second twin style is based on, we call the shapes, or we are using the side of the brush. When you are combine, when you combine these two twin together, very important. You need to make sure your shapes covers the lines. What do I mean by shapes cover the line? Which means you see this line is the lotus twin, right? But when I'm painting the shades or the shadow, I need to use the side of brush to cover this line. So I don't leave this line just in the middle, right? So let's say on this side, see, I'm actually going more.
So just absorb the line into the shade.
Correct. So that you actually shows more what we should call natural splitting, because in this case, right, the lines are more used as a reference for you to splitting the mountain top. Like that. So this side also. Right, and then all the details on top, right? Actually, you see when we do lines, go twin there, right? So go outline, twin, and then you put the dots on top. The small trees right inside all these lines. And some of the lighter ones, see the darker one, you do like this. Lighter one, what you do, right, is actually you can wash your brush, and then you have a bit lighter ink, right? It's by repeating the same lotus twin. That means repeating, coming back. So here, right, we're gonna have more lines, a bit lighter ink. See here, a bit lighter, but I can actually split more inside. So then you're gonna have more shadings
Oh.
with using the lines to do the shadings. And let's see this part coming down. So this one is more similar to actually another one is called Pima Chun. It's actually using lines to do the shadings instead of using the side of the brush to do the shadings.
So the lines is actually using the point, the tip of the brush.
Correct, using the tip of the brush.
Oh, I always thought it's you split. That's why you have the line like that. Okay.
Oh, splitting. Actually, all the
Okay.
traditional painters, when they do paintings, actually none of them actually splitting the brush.
Okay. I will
Correct.
abandon that thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually when you are more what we so called the using the brush is more clear, the structure.
Yes.
You
Yes.
look at
More in
Shitong,
control
right?
too.
Even the Song Dynasty, all those landscape, they shows very clear. The splitting one, like I said, for beginner, but it's also splitting is a bit lazy way when we do.
Yeah, and it's very uncontrolled, it's like
Correct, correct. Yes. So
just like
splitting
dusting.
in a sometimes when you do not handle the pressure correctly, the splitting can cause a very big issue.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Especially when a lot of people then they doing the splitting when they land the brush that one stroke when they land the brush, they go land
That's
very
the end
heavy.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, if we are not using splitting the brush, you see, just using lines, you can also achieve the same thing. But
Yeah.
as a more clear way to paint all the texture. But same thing, you also need to keep the bright and shadow side
Yeah.
on the paint. That means on this side,
Okay.
I could have more. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one, this one very easy. See the X tone we also use quite a lot, right? That means you're using side of the brush, to, but this one we call 大幅比, which means big and long, right? Which means, when you do one surface, right, you go from here. You see, this one is also not splitting the brush. A lot of people thought this one must splitting. Yes, when I teach, normally I say you can split the brush, but it's actually just for beginner splitting. But when you actually paint more, actually you don't need to split.
Right.
The splitting actually happens is on the paper. You see,
Right.
if I'm actually coming, you see, to combine the mountain, right? You see, you can do far away mountains, some straight mountains also can do like this, right? But more like you see in this image, more like a cliff, right? Those very
Right.
solid stones. But this big pupi, right, can also use for far away mountains, like this type of mountains. As long as you're managing the what you call the bright and the shadow side correctly, then you see you can also use this one and then use some lighter one, and then you can use the same thing. For P, right? It can go one way here. It can go also bottom up. Let's say here, right, in between the mountains, I want to have some cloud. Then I can go down and then go up. This is still also considered as a full P chun, right? But it's actually chun for the shadows, right, between the cloud and
Right.
mountains. Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, so this is the X chun, the full P. The big, small X, this one, small X, is used to also paint all these stones that with the, very short stroke. That means
You use more tip or
correct. When we do small chun, is more like a transitioning between the like switching between the tip and side. Let's say I'm painting this rock, right? So what I do, right, is I'm actually using the tip to outline, right? Then the second stroke, actually coming down. You see, when you come down, your brush needs to cover the lines also. The same thing, I do another one going up, and then from here I come down again. So now you are creating the layers with the
in your brush, how do you know how deep the ink goes into the body of the brush? How do you
how deep?
know? Yeah, how do you know where the light color starts?
Oh, it's normally, if you see, if I'm taking you see now, if you look at the color of my brush, it's roughly half of the brush is black.
Yeah.
But my lighter actually starts in half of the half, like 1/4 of the brush. 1/4 of the
Oh,
brush. Because the different brushes are based on the lifespan. Some of the brush goes very old, so ability to take in the water, right, become weaker. The new brushes, when you saw the brush, is lighter, does not happen below here. Lighter already happened in the black parts.
I see.
It's only the thing is actually this part of the brush black is only the outside. If you look at the
Oh,
brush, right, you see the dry one. Show you the dry one. You see the whole dry brush outside is actually more curvy. You see
right.
inside the brush is open, inside or very
A lot,
straight.
a lot of
Yeah,
hair.
outside because we use a lot for the painting, so it's very curved. So what
Right,
happens, right? Some of the hair here, right, you see here is longer, longer, shorter, shorter, shorter. So
right,
outside becomes shorter. Right? You see if you look at
right.
it here. So when we dip the ink on the brush, let's say you go here, dip in, right?
Uh,
This in the back side, only outside has ink. Inside do not have ink, right? Because all this hair, right, is very short, so
short.
it's not taking a lot ink, but it shows black. That means only the outside this
I
layer of
see.
the hair got black, but inside actually there's no ink. So that's why inside is actually lighter. So when you look at the brush, you see half already black. How come this
Mm,
part of the touch is not black? It's
mm.
because this part of the hair, right, only very little ink
Outside.
on the outside. Yeah,
Uh,
inside there's no, because you see when I touch the paper down, right?
mm,
When I touch the paper down, actually, you see, it is very clear. If
I
I touch
see.
down, you can see all here, it's actually lighter. Because
That's
when
right.
I press down, I'm actually squeezing the water to come out.
Water out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's not actually the whole black you see has all black. So that's actually what we should call more like when you
Mm,
paint this the performance of the brush. The best performance does not happen at the very beginning. The
mm-hmm.
best performance of the brush happens usually when you paint like 10 or 15 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
the whole brush got wholly, like the whole brush got soaked into the water and
Right.
every hair is working. Until then, right, when you saw the black, then it will happen.
Mm.
Now, otherwise, all these will be.
So when do you
Hmm.
do this technique that you don't really outline, and when do you do the technique that you use ink to outline everything?
Oh, this one, the ink outline usually happens is on the outside of the rock, right? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you want to show also the mountain, the shape of the mountain. So you can actually see do the outline and then you come back a little more,
But
right? What? Yes.
but when do you use this technique, and when do you
You,
use the gold technique?
the goal technique. The
Mm,
goal technique, this line is, let's say, certain parts are in this photo, for example. See.
right.
Yeah, you see, all these outside parts needs to do outline, but I don't want to show how I paint. I don't want to show when I paint, I do this one, and then I
Mm,
come back to do this one, right? I don't want to show all this outline here. I want
mm,
to have this more natural transition.
yeah.
I will
But
do.
when do you do this, and when do you,
Uh,
like when I did my exercise with the Shitao painting, I
yeah,
didn't do any of this. I actually took a brush and painted dark gray lines.
yeah. 石涛 one actually don't take that doesn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
石涛 is actually more like connected as you do the lines first.
Mm,
He's very clear. His painting, the painting is very clear. He do this.
mm-hmm.
This we call it small action, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you transit from line to 春, this
Mm-hmm.
mostly happens in what we should call a bit modern Chinese painting.
I see.
But of course, this single chun, right? You see the small X
Right.
chun, this painting was captured in a very traditional painting, I think, in the Ming Dynasty or something like that. So when you do like this one, you see here, this rock and this rock, here in between, you're gonna get a surface that's actually, then you can go up, right? Then you can come back to do the small chun, like layer by layer, combine. So you can repeat the thing here.
Right.
So
Get the
this one
other.
I show you just now, right, is not only about this one, it's just to show you the lines and they can go connect with chun style.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So this one is small X cut. X cut. Yeah, the next one, this one is very interesting. This one is called 雨点春. 雨点春 is also a very
Okay.
common. 雨点 means the raindrops.
Raindrop. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is all outline. That
Right.
means when I draw the mountains or rocks. And this one is used in a lot of southern part of China.
It's
the
the Guilin kind of.
Guilin one, yes,
Right.
correct. That is actually not a tall, not a what's it called, very high mountains, and has a lot. All these dots are representing the plants. So when you do the dots, right, the dotting like this. So you do dark one. When you do this one, very important is your color and your brush. So the dark one usually you will put on these lines. Put on the line. Let's see here. Put on the line.
So you're softening the line.
Yes, and also by putting this, I mean I'm actually giving more plants to these lines. But very important, dark one needs to land it on this line first. Okay, so you are not going to put everywhere with this dark one. So dark one surrounding the lines, right? Surrounding the lines, you can go on top here. Also, there's a little more dots.
So can you do this at the end after color?
Yes. This one, especially when you are like I mentioned just now at the beginning, right? If you are using some powder-like paints, like say the 55 and 56, the blue and the green, sunny, right? You will need to do this later because you do at the beginning when you color, right? It goes
powdery.
Very powdery. Correct. So once you done the dark one, now you wash your brush.
I see. Then you do
Then
the
lighter one. The lighter one goes sometimes when you wash too much. Right. The lighter one needs to go surrounding your dark one, but inside the painting. What do I mean? It's actually, you see this drop, this layer in between. I'm going to apply the lighter one, and also transit to the top one. You
it
cannot
doesn't
say,
come out. I see.
you cannot say this lighter one. I do. Let's say certain outline here. I do the outline here. This lighter one, mostly you are doing inside the mountain. Right? So that means inside the black dots you have to done, right? This one, the function, right? One is to soften your black dots, because as we said, these are the plants. Right? If you go a bit lighter, it's actually softening the lines and dark things inside here. And also it works as we said, the depths, right?
Correct.
So as a depth of the
do we have to remember which side is light and which side is dark and put more?
Yeah, for this one, the 雨点春, yes, we also need to, let's say for certain parts, let's say you want this side a bit more bright, then you're gonna go more on this side, more shadow. And then this one also is actually used not only for plants, for those, it's also for the body of the rocks, which means some of the rocks, right, they do have some texture. Let's say the
I see.
very flat one, then you can also do this one for the mountain. And this Yu Dian Chun, right, was actually used in a very early stage in Chinese painting.
Mm,
So those variation, a lot very old paintings, you can actually see they are using this one. Like those, I think last time we saw the Taiwan, the National Museum, the pieces
mm,
they are using is so using this one. So you see this image like small markers like weeding, right?
mm, mm.
Yeah, like that.
Okay,
These terms, right, I put in the documents is the most commonly used,
right.
and also it will actually help you. Then this one is called 刮铁春. This is actually more combinations of the chun styles. This photo, right? If you, I think
Mm,
maybe in the
mm,
US, you have a lot of place
mm,
look like this. That the mountain shows a very, those type of texture, the cracking, the
mm.
rocks. So the
Yes.
Guatiechun, right, is actually very similar to the X-chun.
Oh
So
yeah. You draw the
yes,
line and then.
yes, it draws the line, and also the thing is, after you draw the line, it's actually how you apply this one. So let's say I'm going for one
Mm,
outline here. Then you get one more layer
mm,
here, right? So
mm,
some of the rocks. So the 刮铁春, right, usually happens is actually under the lines. That means you're gonna go like this way. Very short lines. And it's like use the side of the brush to slowly to
mm,
actually push the ink outside your
mm,
original lines. But for this part is very important thing. This one for the vertical stroke, for the horizontal stroke, you see this one I can go up
mm,
a little bit. Then let's say this one also I go up a little bit. For the
mm.
vertical one, you do not do a lot. Let's say this side, you do this way. No, for
Oh.
Guatiechun, right, is one direction. That means
Mm,
all
mm.
coming down. All coming down right here, all coming down,
I
right?
see.
Then the vertical ones, right, what you're gonna do, right, is not to do horizontal, but also do vertical, but in a very light way, that means like you say. And then all the rocks, right, on top of the surface, right, you don't want to
Mm,
leave white. What you do is smaller, like that, wow,
mm,
wow,
mm,
like that. Or your brush can go upside down, like up,
mm, mm.
down, like that.
Oh,
Uh,
good, good, good.
yeah. By having this, you are slowly building a with very subtle structure of the rocks.
Mm,
Yeah. If you see how this painting, if you remove the outline, it's actually
mm.
very subtle shading
That's right.
in the painting.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So you can all change this way.
So the gray also in that direction.
Correct, correct. It's all like this the type of vertical. So that means vertical texture you use the tone. Horizontal you use the line.
The
Okay,
line. Okay,
horizontal,
got it.
horizontal. Yeah, correct. And then let's say this part. But this one very important. You do not drag. This is long. You do not drag very long.
Mm,
It's more like small one, small one
mm,
to build the texture of the rock by doing like small one. And, mm.
mm,
So this is quite to more
mm,
fit to paint this type of uh,
mm,
mountains.
mm,
For Huang Mountains, right,
mm.
it's not like this one because Huangshan, the side also no plants, but the side way is actually more longer. That means the cracking
Yeah.
here, yes. So it's not a lot horizontal, like
Mm,
this horizontal cracking. Mm,
mm.
yeah. Then this one is 钉头寸. 钉头 means the nails, right? The nails.
Yes.
Yeah. But the 钉头寸 is like this. When you do your brush go heavy down,
Mm,
heavy down, like a nail, right? And
mm,
that. You can see here, right? This one I think no need to draw up, but
right.
it's all applied on the shadow side. See,
So
on the
it's
shadow side.
texture, right? It's not tree.
Yeah, it's not tree. This one is texture. You see the photo here, right? It's some
Right.
of the rocks will have something like that. That means a lot of small uh, cracks on
Like,
the
yeah,
rocks.
things, yeah, like hitting it.
Correct. So this one is more by accumulating and repeating the same thing to build.
Mm,
So let's say you have, let's say, one line here, right? Then all the shadows, right, on this side, uh,
mm,
also built on this. And on the top right, like also on the highlight, I also have because this more like
right.
the texture of the rock.
Correct. Okay.
So main thing for this one is telling us what the shadow and also
Yeah.
the highlights you must keep a line. That
Mm,
means you cannot say at the top I have all the dots or the names, then the set and also go back to this one. Cannot.
mm,
So this one should be consistent. Yeah, this
mm.
one is 折带. 折带 usually is for the rocks beside the water.
I see.
带,
Okay.
right? More like means all those belt, right? 折 means
Right.
fold.
Right.
So when we're painting this, one thing very clear is all the 折带 mostly are horizontal ones. So that
Mm-hmm.
means you are building the rocks layer by layer, belt by belt. So
Mm,
right, that means when we draw the texture for this here, right,
mm,
and then here, and this one is also one texture. A lot of people actually tends to use the breaking of the brush.
mm,
Uh, but ultimately, right, to do good for this twin style, right,
mm,
breaking the brush is not very good. It's better
mm,
to use lines to draw it.
mm-hmm.
So beside, right, so doing all the textures,
I see. Uh-huh.
yeah, and then slowly going down.
Okay.
And then the twin for this style, right, is
Oh, I
also
see.
you are doing the shadow. Let's say this one is on top of this one. You're gonna do shadows, right?
At the
You do
bottom,
shadows,
right?
I do horizontal. This one
Mm,
horizontal,
mm.
horizontal. For this way,
With the side of the brush.
all right, using a little side of the brush.
Yeah,
This
the
one,
tip.
some people they will do like this. Side not very good. Then I will just keep on building a lot of
Mm, mm,
lines here.
mm,
Also can.
mm-hmm.
Based on the habits both way you use side like that can. If you don't want
Mm,
to use side, use tape also can. But using the tape, normally it will only use tape for the most top one. The below one, usually you can't because we want a bit lighter. You cannot
oh,
get
I
below
see.
one very
Yeah.
strong. So below one, when you're getting lighter, what you do is actually you need to have a bit more blurry effects. Right? Like
Right.
see the time,
Oh,
then
so
even
nice.
right like that, I'll use the
Mm,
brush to do this thing.
correct.
Yeah. So this is 折带, right? Actually, a lot
Mm,
of paintings. Uh,
yes.
if you remember the waterfall class,
Yes.
that one I did at the most bottom of the painting is we
Mm-hmm.
call 折带春, right? Using
Mm,
this technique to build the stones beside the water. So this is
right.
the image of the
Mm,
real scenery to use. This is water,
okay.
this is stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So these are the most commonly used in the Chinese painting, depending on
Mm,
where you which scenery you are going to use. There are more of different type, but those I think it's personally I think it's not widely used because
mm,
um, some are actually goes very personal style.
mm,
It's more from that famous
mm-hmm.
painter in the history. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this part all good, right?
Good.
No question. Yes. All
Thank
right.
you.
Good.
Yes.
Right. So now we can go for this
Artist.
potential, right? I sent you on WhatsApp. Oh,
Mm.
let me also send you the Google search images, right? Some are
Yes,
actually
please.
not from him, but I'll send.
And his name in Chinese too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Wow, this is really modern. How modern is modern?
Yeah, his let me see, Yeah, he actually is still somehow quite from us. He's actually born in 1897 until
Wow.
the 1971.
Wow, my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. So he's 100 years old. Right? Right? It's not 100 years. 100.
No, no, no.
It's
But very good.
74. 74. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, it's a very common. Ah, okay, so this one, this one, the name of the painting, right, is called 出情. Uh, Actually, later I see if I can find the other classmates. They have done the painting for this one. This one is a very, very good painting, personally. And I think the last bidding of this painting is 200, 200 million for this painting.
Yuan, right?
RMB, yes.
Yeah.
This is RMB, I think RMB, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this landscape you see here is actually also, you can see that it came from a very traditional style here, right? Somehow a little bit like Shitao, the way he used the brush, because the other generations learning the best from it. But he actually changes, he's combining a lot of different things, right? You see here,
Right.
the bamboo here is actually using the gongbi style.
Mm.
Flower here is actually using the gongbi leaf here,
Right.
right? And then the way he paint the grass is exactly the same as Shitao's painting. You know,
Mm.
he's actually taking all the grass on it one by one. And here the stones are near the waterfall. What you can see here, right, the whole stone, the way to paint this is very traditional. But on top of the traditional, he actually added something is more. You see, the stone itself, it doesn't do any shading. You see,
That's right.
shading, right? It's only the pure color there.
He draws
The
over
all
it.
the shading or the shadows, right? He's
Uh,
actually using the ink to do. So if you look closely, right, the ink, he actually do multiple layers, right? The darker, the lighter one, then the darker one. And also
this is
the
for
small,
texture.
yeah, for the texture.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
also you see the small detailed lines on the other side of the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a very accurate and also very alive style.
Mm.
And the leaf is amazing. He's also painting multiple layers
Right.
of this pine. But he's actually getting, you can see here, he get
Mm-hmm.
very light, right? Dark,
Mm-hmm.
even lighter, right? And then in between, all the even darker, more darker ones on top. Than all the
So his
front.
strokes are going in and out.
Yeah, his stroke I think is going more like going out. From some going out, some going in. Based on the place, I think some of the stroke, you see all here, right? These three stroke look like going in. But
Right.
again, this on the bottom look like going out.
This
And
is
some
bamboo, right?
I think this is the pine.
This is
This is
pine.
the pine
Okay.
tree. Yeah. It's having a
Oh.
lot of details, a lot of
Oh
layers.
my God. Okay.
Lighter, darker middle, and darker. Right? You see all the depths. So which makes this painting very unique, right? Is also the composition here. You see, he's using horizontal S shape. Here, connect down, coming up, coming down. Right?
So how do I do
And
these leaves on the 3-ply raw?
yeah, that means you have to separate into different layers. That means you do the lighter one, then
Oh,
dry,
lighter one first.
and
Okay.
then do the darker one.
Okay.
Start from lighter one, then go build the darker one.
Okay.
Because the thing is actually if you go darker one first, come when you do the darker one first, then you do the lighter one, what happens, right? The darker one, when you accumulate more lighter on top of the darker one, the darker one also become somehow not evenly. If you look
I
at
see.
the lever he do here, right, it's very clear. This one is
Yeah.
added later on top of the dark. So dark, middle, lighter, even lighter behind there. So there are a lot of stroke, right? Is a very good. But another thing very good in this painting is that if you look at the stones, you look at the trees, it's very three-dimensional, right? They paint the depths inside. But if you look at the flower on the tree, there's no shading. It's a very two-dimensional. If you look at all these flowers,
Right.
there's
It's
no
just
shading.
outline. Yeah.
Outline there, right? It's very two-dimensional. And here is, you see how many dots he has done. This is
Yeah.
not by one stroke they put the dots. This is by a lot of dots.
Layers.
Like when he do the dots, he do not split more like dot, just really dot like that.
Yeah. Round dots. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also the composition just like finish, right? This composition in the painting, in the we so-called advanced composition, is actually S shape plus triangle. You see the triangle behind from this waterfall to top, and this is the S shape. This composition is also a very good, we call advanced composition in Chinese. Then you combine two classical composition inside one painting. Yeah. So 出晴, right, means is after the rain and the sky just got clean. So in this painting original, so this paper is actually more like a white color. It's not so brown. But what you see here, right, all the flower he paint in the white paint. So it preserve the white, even the paper getting old. So it's a very good way to do this painting, because it's not only like showing your skill. You see all the lines on this pine tree. All the It's actually the pine tree. You see when he color, he do not use dark light. It only use the light brown fasten into ink. But then all these dark stroke, you're gonna go look very two-dimensional, 2D, right? So then all the three-dimensional effect was done using the ink. So all the inks give you the depth of the painting. This is the part of the, I think your 3-ply is also very good to do this one. It will look very nice.
So I'm still not too sure when I do the light leaves, because it's light because there's water in it. And how do I make the points still so sharp? All those individual leaves when I paint on the raw paper.
On the raw paper, I think this is more like the speed, you are painting, and also
and
the
drier.
water. Yes, the brush, it can be a bit drier, right? And
Mm,
also that thing, when you're painting on the raw, the one thing we mentioned before, right, is when we painting, right, the color will look darker than it's dry.
yeah.
So that's why when you painting can go a little darker, but you see once it's dry, it becomes lighter.
Mm,
So the thing for this painting, similar to Shitao one, right, is that it has multiple layers there. But
right.
different from Shitao one is actually the three-dimensional. He actually added, the whole thing. If you separate into layers, right, all these stones, trees, flowers, right, when they do, he actually gives a um, how to say um, this is single layer. Let's say the trees are. It's very, you don't have to consider too much about the light and shading. That means you just draw a tree trunk, the branch, right? Then that's it. And then later on, when you're doing the ink, you are giving the shadings. And if you look at this painting, the good thing also is has a lot of depth. You see the front,
Mm,
bamboo, flowers,
mm.
and then the trees, then the
And then the
land behind.
background.
Yeah, then the background, more grass in the far away, and then also the waterfall here. You see the waterfall is also only using the
Yeah,
line.
single lines.
Yeah, very simple one. So, but he also used, you see the behind. If we look close, the behind he has also a lot of dots, lighter one, darker ones, to
What
actually.
technique is the one behind?
It's more like your brush are going to go like this one. Lighter one, just dabbing, a lot
And then
dabbing.
some longer lines, some shorter
Yeah,
lines.
yes, correct. So this is also, I think personally, I think is a very good painting that you if you have time, you can definitely try this on. It will look nice also on large paper and small, even on
How
the
big is
small
this
card.
one?
This one, I think the original is it like 2 meters, something like that. Yeah, but Pandian Shou did a very big painting in his life, and that's also very interesting. That the same thing that younger days my teacher told me. I also didn't realize that younger days is that he said um, one Chinese painter in whole life, at least one time you should do a very big size painting.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Han Shou did one painting was I think 3 by 5 meters.
Oh my God.
Not sure if it's this one or the other one. Is very huge painting, right? Do um, very big painting because
Mm,
after some time, right, and especially after a certain age, like 70, 80, right, you no longer be able to paint very big one,
no.
cannot handle. So the time you should do big one like that. So this one,
Yeah.
hmm,
Can you explain the trunk? I don't understand what I'm looking at.
hmm,
Are
you
those
see the
vines and
yeah,
what?
you see the trunk here, what he did, right, is actually using the lighter ink, right, to draw out the outline here, right, to
Mm,
draw out the outline here. Inside, inside he has some darker ink, more
mm-hmm,
for this one, on the tree, you got these holes,
mm,
right,
mm-hmm,
on the
mm-hmm,
tree trunk. And then you're gonna get lighter, to go, go a bit darker, right? Then
mm-hmm,
all these plants also texture on the tree trunk, into all this grass, surrounding
mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
tree. Is actually using all this ink to cover the lines below. That means when he paint the tree, the tree trunk is done first in a very
Complete.
two-dimensional, just
Okay.
light ink, yeah, to complete, and then come back, right? Use this ink to accumulate on top of the tree skin, and then you get lighter, right? Then you start to get darker.
Is
And
is
then
that with Huating in there?
in the ink, right? You can, if you let's say using the raw one, we can combine a little Huaqing inside the ink.
Mm,
Let me show you. I think a better way. We try the tree trunk.
okay. Yes. Do you call this 大写意?
This one is if you tell the name right, this is we
Yeah,
call
that's
公血结合, right, which means both
okay.
血液 and 公.
Combination. Okay.
I have this very raw one. It's not triplet, but it is actually the same effect like triplet.
Okay. Okay.
So let's do this one, the triplet, show you the steps.
Yes.
Right. You see how inside the painting, the order to paint, and normally you can actually, based on the position and the overlapping, right? And we all paint, all these bamboo flower the first, and after that, right, behind you can do all those land, but this one is easier right now. So let's paint the whole
So you
tree.
say do the front 工笔 first.
Yes, correct. This
Okay.
has to be, yeah, because you see the overlapping here, because you do later, right? This one
That's
you cannot
behind. Okay.
have to do first. But Gombi, this side, I think you can definitely do it, no problem. More on the tree side. The tree side here is actually the good for this type of painting. Also, we mentioned is in the especially when you're painting certain plants, like pine tree. We call when you're painting, the very good master they are painting. They say, I don't paint the xing, right? That means I don't paint the shape of the thing. I paint the qi, right? Which is the inner side of the things of the tree. This one also come from Wuchang Shuo, another famous one, also in the master class. He said one time, that 老夫画气不画形, which means me myself, right? When I paint things, I don't paint the shape of the thing. I paint the spirit of the thing or the inner side of the thing. That's why his painting is more big city, right? And more we call scholar painting. So when you do the so-called you want to achieve the xing and no, we call the qi instead of xing right now. You see, this tree, it actually doesn't look like the real pine tree. It's more like using the features more like all those holes, right? Then the leaves you can recognize it's a tree. So when we paint it, right, start from the bottom corner, right? Let's say you can go lighter, lighter in. Go, on the raw one, go a little faster when you're painting all this. And don't have to ask for the accuracy of the lines according to the origin. It's more, just getting very light, but must go faster for this. Some go a little darker, for the transition. That's okay. Then the second one, we go on top here, right? So here we has a tree hole here, right? I don't want to do now. So what I do, right? I will skip this one. See, I will do another one. Right, another one. This one a little darker is also fine. I don't need to be very thin, accurate according to that. And then when I come down to this part of the tree hole here, right, I get a little bit darker, ink. So from here, go down, right? You paint a tree hole and put inside line like that. And all these, you don't have to, again, right? Don't have to worry too much about whether the shape is correct, the line is correct. No need to. As long as the we should call the color and also the stroke is correct. That's fine. And from here, the top, right, you are splitting out here actually split to another three branch.
Split to another three. Oh, okay.
So
Correct.
here, adding a little more. Of course, here, right, you see there's some leaves here. You might want to leave the space and later draw the leaves.
The flower or leaf.
Right, the flower, this
Yeah.
one, the leaf. Right, then come down.
But the gongbi outline, is it actually black or is it gray?
For in this painting, it's black. It's
Okay.
black. Yeah. So when you paint on the tripwire, sometimes to let's say in this type of painting, and you don't want a lot of smudging happens, right? What you can do, right, is you can, like last class I mentioned, you can mix some color inside your ink.
Right.
It will grab the ink or not.
Control it. Yeah.
So you have some shadow here coming down. So once you have rough outlines, it's once you know this outlines there, right? Then you can start to add details of, let's say, some of the textures, or say from here, the textures. Inside, don't have to be so accurate. It's more like to show the lines on the
Yeah, scales. Okay.
Okay, now down. And on this side also do a little shading right here, because beside the hole there's a white space also. Okay. Drawing the lines. This part is that when you're drawing all these lines out, the more freehand you go, the more natural. The more constrained, I say, that you want to make it line by line, then it's not good. See, all these are breaking short lines,
right,
to show the texture.
So this is very watery color,
correct.
but your brush is very dry.
Correct.
Okay.
And yeah, and here, right, also I see you see we don't use the breaking brush. Last time is you break the brush and do this way. This one, no, this one is all lines. All lines on the tree. Right. So after the tree branch, see this one below, you can actually stand directly down. Don't, although here, right, some plants, you can actually go just cross them.
Okay. And is that vine that's tangling in the?
You mean this one? Yeah.
Yeah, the hanging down, are those vines?
Yeah, I think these are more like from this flower or leaf. Yeah, another plants. You mean this hand?
The rope,
Yeah.
the rope.
Yeah.
Looking.
I think it's actually this
one. Yeah.
Rolls on
The rope.
Correct.
At the right hand corner, the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Yes, correct. From here grows until surrounding the hoop.
Okay, that's the vine, right? Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So now you see, it's already complete. So if you do the shape, and then right, it start to do dots. Dots, right? That means on the plate. Normally, what you can do is you can do the different shades, right? So take some ink, take some water, right? And on the raw paper, this is very good for the raw paper when you're doing this. Is for the half raw, what happens, right? When you just dip, what happens? It does not smudging, right? It just stay there. For the raw one, you see this one, I just put the dots, it's smudging, and it will normally smudging into all these See, I just put a dot and leave it to smudge.
Right.
It will start to smudge. See that? It will automatically give you a bigger shape, right? And
Mm,
so that you can just do continue to have more,
mm,
some more like that. This part we don't have to control the water because we are looking for that this type of
smudgy look.
smudging.
Okay.
Correct. Just keep on adding a lot more. There.
So
You
you're laying
understand?
down
You
the
see?
light.
Correct. You understand certain smudging, you can also leave the corresponding space between the dots. See, I don't want them to connect, so I give them more space
Correct. Mm,
around. Right. Then here, right. Currently, you don't have to, as long as you understand how the way, let's say, is actually from this direction, then you're gonna
mm,
put all the dots in a similar direction, like so coming down.
mm-hmm. And then you wait for it to dry. Oh,
Yes, this one, once this layer is done, right, you just wait for it to dry. Then later when you apply darker one, then you just apply on top. But following the direction, you see the direction is supposed to be here going up, and
mm.
then from this side going back, and then from there.
So
And
the
this
dark
light,
part looks like it's in the center, right? The
uh,
dark part doesn't come out.
yeah, it doesn't come up. That means
Okay.
there's more like for this one, this line go back and rotate coming to the front, and
Right.
this rotate and then coming to this side and go up.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So all these are also to apply on the other parts of the tree trunk.
Okay.
So
Yes.
you see, after you do this, you will see, oh, actually, the base layer for the pine, the tree trunk, right, is
Mm,
actually not so important. Not so, no need to be so perfect. That's why you can paint a bit randomly below, right? And
okay.
then all the rest.
So the darker lines you come back later.
Yes, you
Black
mean
hole, everything, the
you mean
dark
this
lines
darker
around
one?
the black hole.
Correct. Or you mean this part of the dark one? Yeah,
Yeah.
this dark one, if you look at, is actually doing lighter,
Oh,
darker.
oh,
You
yeah.
need to go over again. Yeah. So,
Mm,
but this one in the painting, right? You see the most dark one. You see all these dark holes is
mm,
actually having one light up, then later come back with the darker one.
mm, mm,
Stroke
mm,
wise
mm,
also. See here, it also has a little bit.
mm. Okay.
Right. So this one would need actually to do a lot.
Okay. Got it.
This should be
Yeah.
fine.
Mm,
Then after these dots, right? Because it's brown color, what we can do,
mm.
we can now just color it. So let me take number 14.
After the lighter starts.
Yeah, lighter dots.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when you're coloring, this brown color, if you are combining with a very light ink, you need to show contrast. If you do the brown first, then you do the very light one second. The things is sometimes you might not to see how let's say the lighter one needs to be go a little more darker than the lighter brown so you can see. But if you do the lighter one first, what's the good thing is later you see the dark one on top, the lighter color under, right? It will actually create a layer on top of the paper. Then when you go the darker one on top of the
Ah,
colors, right, it's not easy, too easy
to
to
bleed.
smudge. Yes,
Right.
correct. So we take a little brown, then I'm mixing with the lighter ink. This one is never use the pure brown.
Uh-huh.
So always come back with little ink.
Right. It looks, the whole thing looks orange.
Correct. Right?
But are the gongbi flowers pure brown?
You mean this one?
Yes.
This line? Yeah, this one also not pure brown. It's more like more brown inside. This is
Okay.
not.
It's not orange, right?
Not orange. Not orange.
It's still brown.
Yeah, still a bit brown. I think mix a little 52 the juicer inside.
Okay.
So this one you come back and see color. The color, remember also the speed. And also you can prepare a tissue. It's smudging a lot. So yeah. Especially when it touches, the outside of the spine.
Yeah. Is this what the masters did? They use tissue?
Yeah, they will use the rice paper.
I see.
A lot of them actually use. They use the a
Oh.
lot with the rice paper. They will put a lot beside. All those
Oh.
masters, depending the 协议 as a big 协议, right? They always have to use this one. See on the side, on the top. With you see when you're painting with all the colors goes onto the paper, right? The brush start to get dry, and then you don't have to be afraid of smudging, right? Because once all done to the paper, it should be fine.
But your paper doesn't buckle. Your paper doesn't wrinkle.
Wrinkle, also wrinkle. Is the once it's dry. Yes, once dry it will wrinkle. Now it's not yet. But actually, if I look from this way, it's already here. It's already here.
Oh, got pocket in it.
If I do this way, you can see. Can see?
Oh yeah. So up down. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So this one has to wait, later this one lower side that it's dry, then we can apply. Let me just simulate, right, using the tissue. Let's see.
Is it 100% dry or 90? Do we want it to blend?
Oh, you mean for this painting? This painting you can actually wait for 100% dry. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, when we are painting, on top of. So this one here, right, we have the color already, but the problem is we still have a lot of water inside. So you see, I'm taking the dark ink. One thing you want to try to stop the smudging, right, is also this brush.
The bottom.
Try your best to take out the water from inside.
Yeah, that works wonderful.
Yeah, right. And then you can come back and see here. I do now. You see, it's not that smudging. It was still smudging, but it won't smudge like very bad.
Because it's paint underneath, right?
Correct. Yes. So now you can do this.
Okay.
Same tapping around it. Actually,
is it important to leave white in between?
In between the dark dots.
Is it important to leave pure white?
No. This painting, there's no pure white in between.
Okay.
Yeah, so you always have to, all these
gray,
black.
everything.
Yes. For this one, the space is more like if you observe, right, you see it start to smudging, but not very badly. You see the smudging only stop there, so no need to leave a lot of space in the car.
Okay.
But the thing is also in his painting, he's actually having more like 3 layers for this one. Not only like the dark, you see the dark behind, there's some more, and lighter.
So he added more later.
Yeah, they actually have more. I think 3 layers should be good.
3 or 4.
Yeah. Ours we do 2 layers. What happens is you don't see, you will see a lot of gaps in between.
So do you later come with water and blend?
Yeah, for this part, right, is actually very depending because the problem here, right, you see, if we try, if I try blending this part, let's see,
It become a big blob.
take a little water, yes. It will happens, right? What happens, right? It will actually smudging the whole thing here.
Yeah.
But this part in certain paintings actually needed. Like if you look at his original here, certain of the lighter one was actually smudged in that. But the
Yes.
problem is if you want to smudge, right, you smudge before you apply the dark one.
Okay.
So that
Got it.
means when I get lighter one, see here, just now I paint the lighter one I can smudge a little bit. So that this will keep on connecting it to each other.
Yes.
Then it will create it works like a second layer. But if you after you apply the dark, then you apply again, then very
Very
badly.
muddy. Yeah.
Yeah, then this one will all connect. All connect, then you don't see you
No
don't
more
see this one.
texture. Right.
Correct. So this one, let's say the bottom one, you see this one, he's actually not doing this. He's not doing, I think this one when we had a classmates also asked, is it that he actually paint all the dark one below and then start to adding the dots, right? It's actually not, if you look at the detail painting, right?
They're all
In
dots.
below, he has a lot of scats. That means that he's also
Mm.
doing dots. It's not doing like whole thing like that. And then you
True.
apply the dark one, it's not like that. So
Okay.
the stroke, when he use certain things are also like he's actually coming back again. You see
Mm.
all the
Yeah.
dark one here, right? Once you do the lighter one, then we do the dark one, right? Again,
Yes.
he will come back at the most outside.
To compose the outside. Yeah.
Correct, correct. This one will be later. That means after
Mm.
you have done, right,
Got it.
then you do some more.
Yes.
And this is the way. So, but the blending part, as I mentioned, is some of the painting needed, but inside this painting is not needed because this
Okay.
blending part mostly happens is what is so-called you are doing certain like soft surface and also things like a bit more small plants like grass, all those. You see, you can blend something like here on the rock. That means you're taking the light and the darker ink, a bit middle tone, right? Then you can come back to add one more drop, right? Then it will spread. But still, the thing is, you do not like apply the whole thing because inside here you can still see the stroke.
Right. Balls.
Like
Yeah.
very clear here.
Mm-hmm.
Then all this grass, right? When you paint that, it's more like you see normally like this shape. You're gonna repeat a lot.
Yeah, that's fine.
How
How do I paint the pine like that? The leaves.
you mean the pine leaves? Yes.
Yeah.
The pine leaf for in his painting, let's say we put it on top.
Just show
Same, right?
a few bunches.
Yes. Same like this pine is not the normal like the pine we see, like those are very line stuff. This is actually more like those pines have been a little bit like similar like bamboo leaves, all those types.
Yeah.
But some of the stroke here, right, is like I mentioned, you see some of the stroke they actually go outside in, outside in some of the stroke. And then most of the stroke is actually going inside out. This is actually based on your habits and which way you feel more comfortable. For this one, there's no right or wrong.
So he still paints bunches like that. He still paints in circles like that.
Yeah, he's actually painting circles. If you look at
because I cannot see it.
yeah, if you look at the pine here, zoom here a little bit, finding a darker one. You see here, he's actually painting a more same like a circle.
Oh, the same way. I see.
Same way, yeah. So that's why the thing is he's gonna need to have a lot overlapping. So
yes,
that means like certain things, right? Is here I do here, right? Then I do one more below right here. then you need to do a lot of overlapping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
not very fine, right? I don't have to use the mouse
right.
whisker.
No. Yeah, this one, the fine one would not match the style. You must do this. What's it called? Some you can also go outside in. So fine. And in this painting, it's too dark. In inside, when you do like this, there's more like sometimes if you don't need to do how to say inside you can go a little bit any direction should be fine because it's a lot overlapping.
Yeah.
And the most important is the outside. See outside here.
Yeah, the
Here actually
outline.
still very good. See here it has this type of style, for the pine leaf, which look nice. So when you do the most outside one, you should actually go more clear on the
Okay.
leaves. Then the inside one, no need. Also, this one needs to wait. Otherwise, I see it will become like that.
Which is not bad. It's quite nice.
Yeah. But when you do, let's say more like you see the different layers, lighter,
Right.
middle tone, right? The middle tone over the lighter one, you can do something like this. It's smudging a little bit. But the last one, like the darker one on top, must be very clear. That means the lower layer must be dry.
So I have to do the gongbi flowers first before I add the leaves, right?
Correct. So you have to do all these first. All
Okay.
these lines, all these areas down here can do first, and then the leaf here can do first, and then start to adding the leaves.
Okay, and then do the stream and mountain later.
Correct. All this behind you can do later. So for this part, the overlapping on this part, there's also you see is actually already having the behind. So because the overlapping of the tree and this rock only a small part. So you can do this one first. The very good way for this type of painting is that by painting the components that needs the drying process first. Let's say some of the leaf those you need to wait for dry. So when you're painting the leaf, after you're painting the leaf, while you're waiting for them to dry, you can paint the rest.
Do the
Then
rest first.
finish, right? Come back, this dry already.
Correct. Yes. Okay, so if I paint something like 1 foot by 3 feet, is that about the right proportion?
Yeah, I think this one would be normally this one is 1 by 4. So it's 1,
4.
and then you go like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that.
So this is not the complete drawing, right? It's something more at this end.
No, this is complete. I think
So how do you
it's
get
1.
4?
Yeah, I think if you divide this one into 2, right? Or maybe it's supposed maybe it's 1 to 3.
3 squares.
1 to 3.
Okay.
1 to 3. Yeah. So if you divide this, should be 1 to 3.
So like 1 foot by 3 feet.
Yeah, 1 foot by 3 feet should be good. Correct.
And okay. And for this one, I use the 3-layer raw is better than using the Yunlong.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this one would not look good. Because
it's
you
too
see
soft.
the surface here, right? It's very evenly.
Oh, not
color.
clean, no.
Yeah. So otherwise, then right, it has a lot of texture inside.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
And then the color, the green, the blue is 57 or
yeah. The blue here, right? Just now I say, when you want to mix, right? Some of the this
ink,
small
right?
the color is actually 58, only Huaqing. So this one is the bamboo leaf here, right? You can use
is that turquoise, right?
Yeah.
Or the middle.
The 56.
56 is that middle blue.
Middle blue, yes, the bright blue. 57 is a little darker, right? 58 is the Huaqing we did. Gonna use for the other color. it should be this color.
57 is the deep
56. This one is
56.
actually 56. Show you a color.
56 Santing.
Yeah, it's actually this color.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
actually this color for this one.
Only one color. It's not mixed, blended into another color.
Yeah, this one you can actually blend a little 55 also. So 56
Okay.
plus 55. And then this one now, very important now, is you draw the outline, then you color, then you draw the line again on top.
Okay.
Because for your paper retrieve line, the thing is you need to make sure, you know, first the ink later will not smudge because when you color. So you do the color first. Once color dry, then you apply the lines on top.
But the outline you put in first.
Yeah, outline put in first.
Okay, the veins later. Okay.
Yes, and the wings later. Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, look very good. Let me see if I can find the other space. This one.
Yes. Let me see.
It's a very long time. I'm not sure if I changed my phone.
This is for the master class.
Yeah, correct. Good. No, this is for the advanced class in the classroom one.
For the big painting, it's a big one.
No, this one was actually for a smaller one.
So
it's
just a
actually
long
the
cut.
Long cut.
Okay.
Yes, they actually do the long cut one. Good. Here. You see? No, it's okay.
Wait, yeah, not focused.
Here, put down maybe better.
Wow, in 2 hours you can do this?
No, actually they spend more time at home. So we finish the main thing,
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, very good, right?
Very good.
Yeah, this will look very good.
So nice.
I'm
so impressed.
Even better, yes.
I want her as my classmate.
Yeah, she's also very hardworking. Yeah,
is she still drawing?
Yeah, still. Saturday 4 to 6, she's still drawing.
She's
also doing a lot of big roles. I'll show you some of her big role painting. Yeah, she's also, you see this class, the Jana
so nice.
Very nice looking, right?
So this is the master class or
advanced class? This is the advanced class in the classroom one. Yeah.
Will we ever do the light green one?
Yeah, we can arrange a light green one in the Zoom one. Yeah. If you like that one,
yes, the light. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah,
how long has she been painting?
Also with me, more like 2 years. Right.
It was so impressive.
Yeah, it's very good. She did the set for the orchid. I did the orchid.
It was so nice. And you help her write.
Yeah, I help her write because she's Malay, not.
Yeah, it's hard enough, right?
Yeah. This is also the rabbit, the vegetable.
You're so nice. We haven't painted rabbit yet.
Yeah, correct. Oh, yes, correct. Rabbit haven't.
It's your gift, yeah. But we haven't painted in the animal class.
Correct. Landscape, right? You should do good.
You're so nice. I'm so jealous. So nice.
No. I think you can do. I think in my mind, the classmates there are, you can group certain, like you and her and other in the same Saturday class. You are on the same level of, when you're learning. I mean, when you're learning is more from my point of view, the speed you are taking in and to apply the same thing. But I do have classmates that, they take in very slow and they don't know how to apply. Even I gave more details. But it's very good. I think that, for all this, is more like feel very proud of you. You can do all this. See, this one is
Yeah, show
Hajun.
me
They
more.
see this painting in the classroom.
Yeah, we haven't done that one yet either.
Yeah, this one I haven't done yet.
This
And
one very tricky, oh.
yeah, and also the Gongbi, right? So you know, this
It was
one
so
is
nice.
Gongbi peony.
Ayo, she's so good.
Yeah.
Ayo, so good.
You can also do, definitely. Yeah, you are I think this one, I think
Which one is that? That's
this one is
the
uh,
hibiscus.
hibiscus. Yeah, in the
Very
ink
nice.
version, yes. So, but I think is yeah. Also, because for her, right, is that because she's Muslim, so
That's right.
a lot paintings at home, she cannot harm, the animal at home, right? So a lot of classes, actually, we paint a lot of plants, flowers,
But
and
what kind of animal she cannot hang?
she said is actually she cannot harm anything with the eyes.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they think it's
So,
evil spirit or something.
yeah, I think, yeah. This one the Yulan,
Magnolia.
yeah, Magnolia.
Yeah, so nice.
Everything between those actually developed some of the clusters. But she has a pet, a tortoise.
Oh, tortoise.
Yeah, this
Oh,
one is like that.
oh, this is her own pet.
Yeah, this one is actually her daughter wanna have a painting of the tortoise. Then I teach them to paint the tortoise. This one.
Very cute.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of classmates are doing good for all this. Also this type of furniture or flowers.
Very nice.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, so they still keep on painting very good. That you can
They
see the
must.
progress. How you progress and make a lot of improvements and see when you do good. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But some like like chimney, those I really don't understand.
That one is
why.
terrible lah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're having color soon, right? They're coming.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
maybe I would just start recording. Then later I will send you
Yeah.
all this.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
Sue.
right.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.